Hello everyone. So basically in this video I'll be looking at the game I played as the Mughals, starting as the Timurids. It was a pretty decent games with competent players. Unfortunately there was not that much player, like a lot of players random quit early on. But basically I'll be going over my country, how the game did go for me, and after that I'll be talking about the other country that ended up uh, that were there at the end of the game, basically, that were relevant. So just a quick disclaimer, I'll be probably rambling a lot, and also I'm not an expert at the game. I would say I'm good, but not an expert at all. There's so many better multiplayer player out there. So yeah, let's start. So it started pretty easily. I mean, lots of revolts, of course. That's the problem with deterrence. You always start with having lots of revolt to deal with after you annex your vassals and you conquer Dajam, which is right here. Then I consolidated my sorry, I consolidated my powers in the Persian area, Persian trade node and region, and then after that I started expanding to Arabia, Middle East a little bit more, taking out QQ, Hormuz, Sasa, Mushancha, or whatever it's called, I don't remember. So yeah, just and the reason for that is trade, of course. You always want to consolidate your trade as fast as you can. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Baghdad. It's kind of bad for me, but yeah, I'm losing maybe, I don't know, I would say about 15 ducats in income minimum just from that, and for a long time. But I mean, I couldn't complain since the Ottoman and me were allied since the beginning of the game. Great way to secure your early game as the Mughals is to have allied with the Ottoman. Make so that if when there's an Indian player that want to kill you, then they have to fight you and the Ottoman, and you won't get backstabbed if you're lucky. But yeah, started pretty damn fine, and then I had some problem looking into India because there was a Delhi player around here, and there was a Mewar player, which was Kak, who is a really good player. The Delhi player ended up quitting, but without fighting at all, but just not showing up at Riost. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was a little bit lame for that, since I was able to rickroll Delhi, even though it was allied with Mewar, because I just attacked a small AI that was allied with Delhi and killed Delhi like that, broke his alliance with Mewar. That's how you do it, basically. I didn't focus on Mewar early on, which I should have, which was one of my big errors, was not kill Mewar early on. The first like 30 years of the game would have made my game so much easier. But yeah, I guess you can't be the best at everything. So after consolidating Persia and having a little bit of lands in Delhi and Arabia, decided to fight Mewar with the help of the Ottoman, which is kind of funny since I was not expecting him to help me at all. But thank God he did, because it was a really hard war. I mean, I had to take loans, like 3 or 4k debt loans in like 15, 3, I don't remember exactly the year. And then, yeah, it was a hard war. Some hill fort we were knowing. I was lucky enough that those forts are drylands, flatlands. But arriving here, it's really hard to push into. I was able just because of sheer massive amount of merc I had, and Also better army, since my idea, Timur's idea are really good early on. Shock damage, moral of armies compared to... I think we can see what he had. He had, well, compatibility, but that's about it. Got discipline. No, that's later on. Land leader shock, I guess. But yeah, hard fought war was worth it. I mean, even though we only got like a few provinces like this trade center, it just helped reduce the growth of Memoir. I after that allied Vijayanagar and Bengal to block Memoir from expanding at all, so he was stuck there for a long time and made him almost go irrelevant eventually, since he couldn't expand. So yeah, and after that war, just continued to eat Delhi's, continued to expand in Arabia, started to expand to Ajuahan here, eventually for the trade. Gulf of Aden, feed into Ormuz, feed into Basra. As for ideas, I did of course go quality economics. First idea, it's more million multiplier, it's what you see the most. So quantity trade is really unusual for Ottoman. Innovative quality, I guess it's decent. Quality trade, it's decent. Trade exploration, that's fine. I guess he didn't have to worry at all with mainland and fighting, so normally if you have some mainland land or you want to be more present in Europe, you want to go quality exploration. But trade exploration is really good. So yeah, after that I did go quantity trade. Really wanted trade early on. Could have taken innovative, but trade was the best idea as the Mughals. One of the best because of all the trade you make from India, and you needed a lot of merchants for India since the money goes all a bit everywhere, really randomly. So that consolidator trade makes you money, and trade wins you the game basically. So as you can see, end game, my trade is looking decent, not the best since I don't have Bengal, most of Bengal yet, and that I couldn't consolidate in Vijayanagar fast enough. But it's decent, same on par with the Ottoman. Of course, if you can to the English channel, it's completely crazy. 500 ducats, 250. And then France is making another 63 from there. But yeah, that's because of like all the New World. So England and France are winning the game just from sheer wealth. So yeah, that's about it for the trade and oh, I forgot to tell about Russia. Russia was doing shitty, really badly. I don't know what he was doing with trade, but he couldn't get more than that. Guess because he doesn't have Crimea. No, yes, Crimea just doesn't have a merchant there. Guess he doesn't have a trade province in Crimea, and he didn't steer enough trade from Siberia and China since he was not able to expand there a lot. But that's for the trade, and then you can go to the armies. Got decent armies. Compatibility is not great, but this would have been better after I ended up with innovative. With the policy, 20% compatibility. And then the 5% from, I think I already have it, the 5% discipline from quality and economics, which is always really good. That gave me 123.8 discipline with 77 absolutism. It's a good amount. It's decent. It's not the best, of course. I think France was like at 103, or Prussia. I don't remember. You can just check that later on. My general, I was really lucky with my army tradition. Was always able to keep it up high enough. So the old game I had really good general that helped me a lot. And for estate, I mean normal. You can't really do much with those estate, especially Jains, Brahmins, Rajputs are shit. And then New Lama, normal things. I missed Burger. The Burger was a great estate. That's one of the bad things to go when you go Mughal. And yeah, I kept the Timurids idea because they're way better for fighting. And leader shock, discipline, morale of armies, shock damage. It's just amazing. Compared to Mughals, I think they don't get much, honestly. Really not. So if you have any question, feel free to ask in chat. This game was played like last 2 weeks during the Christmas, like New Year vacation. You can see it on my either YouTube or just straight up the videos on Twitch. My YouTube is Lord Bicall, by the way. Same as Twitch. So yeah, army's 200k force limit. Pretty good. I could have been way better if I had a conscription center everywhere. But since India built some, was lucky enough, Delhi I mean, I was lucky enough to get them. So that helped a lot. And my Merc limit, which is really important in multiplayer. You're always gonna fight on Merc at the end of the day. Like manpower is not really gonna matter if you can like keep up your Merc and just full Merc all day and then have more Merc than the enemy. You basically win if you have the economy for it. I don't remember where I can see how much Mercs. How much Merc I can take. I guess I can. Just to see how much Merc I can take. So that's 100 Merc. Is that 100? Yeah, that's 10 times 10. That's not all of Merc, but I guess I could have gone administrative idea. Would have been way better for more Merc. But yeah, Merc's infantry is just the way to go, and you're just gonna put your cannons on manpower, regular manpower, and horse too. So yeah, the war, after fighting my war for the first time and blocking his expansion, I was able to grow a little bit more and then to consolidate my economy and pay a little bit off my debt that I had. I think I had 4k debt fighting him. And then I decided to fight him again eventually. It was the way to go, I guess. We had to fight Japan, Mongolia at the same time too, so and the Ottoman helped us. So yeah, they did a good job of helping us. Honestly, they gave us the game basically. That second war was really even more costly. I had 14k in debt at the end of it. Reason for that is that sheer amount of troops that I had to fight from Mongolia, Japan, and my war was still very strong. Just fighting all over again all the time for like 10 years. really hard fought war. My error at the end of the war was to not go bankrupt. I had 14k in loans. I could have gone bankrupt 5 years and be done with it, and would have paid my all my loans in 1580. You know, would have been awarded for sure. But I didn't go bankrupt, so I was stuck with that those loans forever, like for 150 years basically, and then the inflation was at 20 for most of the time, which is really bad. But eventually, after I killed my war, and then Japan is allowed in game after 1600, so there was sorry, Ming is allowed in the game after 1600, so I guess I could show it on if I remember how to do it. Show timeline. There you go. It's gonna be way better like that. Way more interesting actually. I don't know why I didn't think about it. Good. So yeah, Attack the Jam consolidated in Persia. Next, my vassals really easily since you have core on them. After that, so Delhi and my war was a player. I was allied with Ottoman Mamluks, who was a player too. Delhi expanded, my war expanded a little bit. Really slow though. Attack Baluchistan, Sin. Really easy war. Consolidated in Arabia. Then Delhi became really big. Just to show a little bit more of the war world. So France was having a good, decent game. Austria was having a great game. I didn't fight Kurokudu until really late. I should have fought him earlier. Ottoman was AI, I think, for... No, it wasn't AI, it was just Mamluk's player was blocking him from expanding there, I guess. So Delhi was really big, my war was decent size, I mean, was having really good troops. But the Delhi player quit. Sorry. So the Delhi player quit, so I was able to attack him and get the land I needed to start going to Mughals soon. I think it slows my first war with my war. Hard fought war, for sure. Yep, there you go. Took 4 province, 3 province. 25% war score. I had to stab it for that. I couldn't hold the war any longer because I had the rebels all game. Since I was determined. But yeah, Mamluks was killed more, well, attacked by the Ottoman, was killed pretty easily. And was able to east the rest of Yemen and the rest of Delhi. Jaipur was allied with my war, it was a little bit annoying, so I had to play around that with Khiva, that was allied with Jaipur. And I formed the Mughals, and kept the Timur idea. So, meantime, France had eaten Burgundy. Great Britain was consolidated. Denmark was not player. Moscow was really looking strong. With I don't know if by that time I think he already had the Prussian PU, PU over Prussia. Spain was doing really good. New World, slow colonization, not a lot of action. Spain was there in Caribbean first. England was losing his time with Canada. And Africa, Ticolia, which was the host, was doing fine. I mean, I think he was starting to look into Malaysia. Ming was not a player yet. Japan was doing okay. Could have expanded into Malaysia really early on. But I was having a decent game, but Moscow was having a better game, and Austria was starting to go down since it fought the Ottoman and lost. And that's about it. France was having a really good game, Spain. So I would say Moscow was having the best game, but he had a lot of problems for some reason with rulers, bad rulers, almost all games. So it was a little bit behind in tech. It was a good player, Mars, a really good player there. You know, someone is good when they know how to bankrupt their nation when fighting. It's pretty funny. So yeah, it's approaching my second war with my war, so I was getting ready, getting my manpower. My war was stuck there. I was allied with Bengal. Vijayanagar was a player for some time, so it was helping a lot. Apart from that, not much happening. Italy forming was AI for some time, and then yeah, second war in my war. I gave some land to Vijayanagar. That's the war I got for 14k in debt. It was really horrible. Was able to expand to Jaipur really fast. A lot of good lands, and then yeah, I took those provinces from my war. The gold province, of course. France was killing each other basically. I think the Reacher was disbanded by this time. Really good play for France, who had Holland as a vassal too. So after that, just yeah, trade, and my war was still a player for some time. Kolia was expanding to Malaysia. Decent play. Russia was doing Russian thing. Expanding to Siberia. I should have expanded more into Great Horde just to secure the Crimean node. An Astrakhan node, actually. Too bad you cannot select the date to start off. So Spain has a lot of potential when going to Africa. It can heat all of West Africa and become one of the big contender of the game. France was having a great game just because of the HRE debt being dead and like having the channel. It was really good for him. By that time, people were complaining. Third War with my war completely isolated them from coastline. People were complaining that I was getting India for free, which is basically not true because I had fought a lot for that. But Mughal with India is really OP, honestly. So I can't understand why they complained. But France was looking amazing. And yeah, the game is starting to be in the last few years. Spain was a new player, decided to fuck with us by allying Vijayanagar, and I had to fight him in Russia for some time. Really annoying to fight. Then France decided to attack Russia for Prussian land and Polish land because Poland was apparently vassal of France for some reason. And I was trying to completely block off Vijayanagar, but I was not able since the Kolya was able to sneak into Vijayanagar basically. So I was stuck like just like that, and just horrible border that I'll show that you might have seen early on. Yeah, there you go. It's pretty horrible looking. He was trying to cut block me basically. Ugh, horrible border. I think I decided to finally kill Bengal. A lot of money in that trade node. But yeah, could have expanded faster into Vijayanagar, but Spain was alright to it, so I had to fight him for really annoying, like I said earlier. And that's about it for the game. Basically, nothing really happened after that. I didn't fight France when they attacked Russia a second time. Was too lazy to do it. It was really not worth it, honestly, for just shit land. Russia wasn't gonna lose anything. Russia had a, was a good ally endgame. Was lucky enough he didn't was not strong enough to oppose me. He was all a bit behind in Miltech. But yeah, it was a really good ally because starting third session there was alliance rule, so I couldn't ally Ottoman anymore. And Spain, I couldn't ally Spain either, and then Italy was allied with Ottoman, and then I had to find an ally, so I decided to ally Russia, which ended up fine. Really, we didn't fight big wars, like, apart from Spain. But it's a good balance if Ottoman would have attacked me, which could have happened. Like, just the endless steps of attrition of Russia is a little bit too good, and my forts, mountain forts too, would have helped a lot. But yeah, that's the game, and then my mission. Yeah, I don't know why. No, I don't have DLC yet. I think I need to buy it. Fuck. You don't need the DLC when you play multiplayer, since if the hosts have it, you have it. Basically, you can play it. But I was starting to get my Mughal mission done, which was helping a lot with those core. And the Timid mission was really easy. There was one mission with Timurids where you consolidate in Persia, I think, and you get 400 ducats, something like that. It's just way too good early on, since the money helps you a lot if you need merc spam for a war, or just pay that because you have so many rebels to fight. So Ming was player at the end of the game after 1625, I think, and he did okay. Wasn't really expanding. Was just keeping his swarm of Vassal. Decided to become a tributary just for his protection against Ottoman. Really easy, and I didn't have to pay anything. He just didn't set me to pay anything. So it was really good. And Ming basically paid all my debt. I had 14k in debt, and I just say, hey Ming, you have money? You want to pay it? Pay my debt. I'll be your friend. And he said yes. So it was pretty hilarious. He sold me for so much money, and then paid 1,000 ducats at the time. So much money. That's why I'm just relevant in this game, honestly, because of Ming. If Ming didn't have not paid my debt, I would be even more behind. Like, as you can see, I'm behind by a lot. I don't have a lot of manufactories in Persia. Like, all the Indian manufacturers were paid by Ming or by the Indian or nation that was there before me. And then yeah, I couldn't build much, honestly. Yeah, like, as you see, everything is in India because I didn't was not able to build much in Persia. As for state, I was really slow to expand. I didn't have the admin power almost all game until I got this guy to state it. So I was losing a lot of money from that. I should have spent more stating instead of putting into innovative. Would have been more worth it, honestly. At 1200, I could have stated a lot more land. Since that land is really rich in trade. Yeah, I've not even stayed in a war, which is a gold mine. Pretty stupid, just see how much it would give me. Just see how much money. Yeah, 4 more ducats. It would have been worth it, for sure. But that's the game, basically. It was a good game. The game was basically a draw between me and France. The reason for that is that we didn't really have a reason to fight each other so far apart, and also because the sheer amount of development we had. France was at 300, but I was at 300, 300, 2,600, and I was at 300, 3,300, sorry. So I was winning from development, but France had the better economy and better land and better train node, basically. So it was a draw. Ottoman was not really relevant, honestly. He was a little bit behind in ideas, and his troops were not that good. He didn't have enough Janissaries, and he had the Janissary decadence, I think, at that point. Russia had a hard game, even though he was able to expand really fast and too later, and he had some debt problem, had to go bankrupt one time. And yeah, had a lot of peasants and annoying things. So slow game for Russia. Even though it was kind of able to catch up in tech eventually. And then Britain is just Britain. It doesn't really matter what they do. It's just they never end up winning. They just end up making the most money and giving the win to the one they're giving money, basically. Italy was really strong, but too late for him. Uh, was not able to expand to France or Ottoman. Had really good ideas though. So basically, yeah, draw. And then Japan, irrelevant. Skill by Ming. Player Takolia, irrelevant. Started too small, even though he had good ideas. So started too small, was not able to invade India fast enough and to annex Malaysia fast enough either to get some trade. He doesn't have any node trade, so can't make a lot of money from that. And then I think Spain was AI at the end. Was killed by France. Too bad. France and Italy actually. New World, United States spawn. Canada. Texas was a player. All irrelevant, basically, but pretty funny. And that's about it. So if you like that game, you can, well, that recap or the game that you can watch on the YouTube videos, the playlist I have, be sure to like, and yeah, I'll be posting probably more games, slowly but surely. I can only play during the weekend, organized game. I'll play some random games too from time to time. So that's about it.